Hey guys, I'm Deepthi Desikan, and in this video we're going to be talking about essential makeup brushes. And these are the makeup brushes that have found their way into my makeup routine, and I have backups of some of these. So these are some of my most used makeup brushes, and you don't really need all of these brushes. You can narrow it down from this list, but these are some of my most used ones, and I have a reason why I would be recommending a certain shape, a certain type of brush to you, and then you can narrow it down according to your preference or the way you do your makeup. I did get quite a few requests to do this sort of a video. That's the reason I'm sitting here to film them. Anyway, starting off with face brushes, this is the PAC 252 brush. This is a flat top kabuki brush. It's a really nice big face brush and more surface area to work on, or on your body you can use this. And it's big, it absorbs the right amount of product, it buffs it out really well and gives you a really good finish. A very runny foundations, these kind of brushes, the flat top brushes, can tend to make it a little bit streaky, but there's nothing a little bit of buffing motion won't fix. If you didn't want a brush of that big size, you can try out a flat top kabuki brush that is a lot more smaller. This one is from Mars. This is their foundation brush. There's no number on this. This is really affordable as well. Someone asked me if these compare to PAC brushes, if they are of similar quality, and I feel like yes, it is. These brushes haven't shed on me and they don't really come off. They don't feel very rough, and I have washed all of these brushes so many times because I owned them for a really long time, so they just work just as good as those brushes. In fact, turn out to be a little bit more affordable, but PAC has a varying variety of brushes. So if you're looking at like building a proper collection, especially if you're a makeup artist and you're like all in for the tools, I would say just go with PAC. But if you are just a beginner, you don't know where to start, Mars has really good brushes too. So you can try this one out. This also blends in your foundation really well. It works out really well for me when I have foundations of slightly thicker consistency. I don't really use this with very runny foundations. It does work, it's not like it doesn't, but I just have a preference. And also the Mars 4-in-1 makeup brush. This has the same shape like this flat top kabuki brush has, so you get that same shape. You also get a powder brush and 2 eyeshadow brushes, so even this works really well. This is not from Mars, this is actually Colors Queen, which is a lot more cheaper than the Mars 4-in-1 makeup brush, but gives you the same kind of performance, and it's just the same product. Just that I don't know where's my Mars brush, so I'm recommending this. But I also picked up some more generic brushes that look like this and it didn't turn out to be the same. So Mars or Colors Queen 4-in-1 brushes work out really well. And then when it comes to rounded buffing brushes, this is my absolute favorite brush. This is the PAC 231, and every single time I see these brushes on discount, I pick them up because I use it a lot. So this has that rounded thing. It's not like a flat top kabuki brush. It's not completely flat. This is something that I feel like gives you more room to work around. You can use it in stippling motions, buffing motions, and the foundation tends to be a lot less tricky when you're using this, especially some products that are a little bit more tricky, some things that have a different consistency, like say you're using something like the Laura Mercier Flawless foundation. It has sort of like that silicone moussey feel, and so when you have foundations that have that moussey feel, the brush or a sponge that you're using has to be like working hand in hand. While speaking about sponges, I have to also mention this. My recent most used sponge is this one from Praush. Is it called Praush or Bloom now? Yeah, Praush Beauty. This is really nice, soft, squishy, durable sponge. Also, Mars has a makeup sponge which you can pick up, either one of it. These are really nice to blend out your foundations and most of your cream products. So if you're someone who's into sponges, you can try this out. I'm not a sponge person because every single time I have to wet it, and storing this is a lot harder. It collects a lot of dust. Washing it is also a little bit harder, so I'm a brush person. But if you're someone who's into sponges, of course you can try those out. There's this one brush that Mars introduced. This is the Mars BRF10 brush. This has my heart because it gives you something that you can, like if you want to apply your foundation like this and build on the coverage, when you have a product that is a little bit too tricky, say like the Chanel the tint, the Le Beige tint, which is a little bit like goopy but you know also very runny, and it's not something that would ideally work with a buffing brush, a kabuki brush, and it's a little bit tricky and you want more coverage as well, like in any foundation, you can use this brush because it gives you that application like this. So you drag it down your face. You can use this for your primer. You can use this for something that you want to blend out, like the Hollywood Flawless Filter, like, you know, any glowy product like strobe creams or anything. You can use this one. It gives you a lot of use. You can use this for your cream blushes. You can use this to powder down your face. You can also use this for powder bronzer. And if you've applied contour, you can just use this with a very light tapping motion and you can blend it out. It is a really nice versatile brush. But over those brushes, would I recommend this? Not quite. If you're someone who already has like a rounded foundation brush and you also have a kabuki brush, and then you're just looking at trying something a little bit new, because there are people like that who like to try out, test out in a lot of different things. Makeup is their passion. You are a makeup enthusiast. You love collecting brushes as well. This is something you can try out. It's not even that expensive, so it is a good product to use and all of that. I have given you guys a complete demo of this brush in a dedicated mask video. I'll try to link it right here, where I have used a lot of their brushes as well. And then this brush from this brand called Bind Beauty or Bind Beauty, this dual brush, I've got a lot of use out of, because it is a dual-ended brush, and when I was traveling with makeup, I needed this brush a lot. So this side of it gives you a really nice application for your color corrector particularly. It's like you're applying it with your fingers. It gives you that precision, that right kind of product pickup. So I always use this end of it for color corrector, not so much for blending out my concealer, because I feel like it's a little too pointed. It's like a finger, you know, like it's like pointed like that. So it works really well when you want to apply color corrector particularly. And this side I use it for foundation, for powder, for blush and everything when I'm not traveling with a lot of makeup brushes. So these kind of, like, you know, dual-ended brushes like the mask one and this one works out really well at that time when you can't carry a lot of brushes. Now moving on to concealer brushes, I have quite a few in this category. You can again narrow down the ones that work the best for you, because again, concealer brushes is something I have a lot of backup of, because I use them so much and pretty much every single day and pretty much every single time I'm filming as well. The first one we have is this Mars BRF09 brush. This is a very nice, like, angled brush. It has a little bit of density to it as well. It doesn't make your concealer streaky, but if you have like a full coverage concealer on and you want the brush to kind of dilute that product, spread it out evenly and minimize the coverage a little bit, a brush like this would not work. I have brushes specifically for when I have a thicker concealer, when I have a full coverage concealer and I've applied a little bit too much product and I want the brush to do the fixing for me. I have brushes for that. This one, it'll give you just the right amount of coverage you want. Like if you applied like a thin layer of concealer, you have applied a concealer that is very, very thin in terms of consistency, as well as it gives you very little coverage, these brushes would work really well. It gives you that precision. It applies just the right amount of product, spreads it out very evenly. And when you have done I'm sorry, I'm going to be coughing throughout this video. I am sick. Okay, so when you're done with your full face of makeup and you want to just touch up the concealer underneath your eyes because you feel like it's a little bit too dark, you want to apply a highlighting concealer, but you don't want it to mess your under eye makeup or the blush, you can use a very precise brush like this. It's like precision in a brush. Okay, so that's when I reach out for this one so much. Like sometimes I'll have blush and everything and I feel like, okay, this concealer is starting to look a little wonky underneath my eyes. I need something else to fix this. That's when I use this, and it just applies the right amount of product, blends it really well. And the same thing goes with this PAC 272. I would just recommend either one of this. You can pick and choose the one you like. This is a little bit cheaper than this. This 272 also does the same thing. You can see it has that angle, so you can move it according to the way you like. It won't mess up your makeup and it won't make the concealer go everywhere. So in that case, you would need an angled brush like this. You can pick and choose the one you like. This is from Mars and this is PAC 272. Now I also have other brushes from PAC which I do really like. This one is the PAC 219 brush. I again like to use this when I'm using a very thin consistency of concealer, which was not going to give me a lot of coverage, so I don't want the brush to soak up a lot of it. I use this, again, it gives me precision. I use this for powder as well. Like once I'm done with my entire makeup, but I want to just powder my under eye area, I use this. I sometimes use this to blend out my liquid highlighters and powder highlighters, so that's the reason I have this. But I wouldn't say that it is my most used brush, but I still do use this quite a lot. But it's not my most used brush, but it's something you can try out if you are on the lookout for a brush of this shape. And this one is the PAC 221. Now you can ask me, how is this different from your other brushes? This is very nice when you want to get that quick blending of your concealer, but again keep the consistency and the coverage on point. Like the amount of product you applied should tally with the end result. This would work out for that. It goes right underneath my eyes. I've also used this to blend out concealer around my mouth, but I wanted the coverage of the concealer to remain the same, but I also wanted to get the job done a little bit sooner. All of those brushes wouldn't work. This would do that. So it works for underneath your eyes as well as around your mouth, and it doesn't soak up a lot of product. You guys would be like, really, is that even an issue? Is it something that really arises, or are you making it up? When you are used to doing your makeup so much, you will find out that the right tool sometimes fixes your makeup, and there are very little chances of you messing it up because of your brush. And sometimes the brushes are like a lifesaver. They fix your makeup, and that's the reason I these days prefer investing the right kind of tools. When I'm saying right kind of tools, I don't really mean the price point. I'm talking about the shape and the efficiency of the brushes. For that, like when I have something like the Too Faced Born This Way concealer, I've applied a little bit too much, and I'm now not sure how to blend it out because there's only so much area underneath my eyes, and I don't know what to do. I use a brush like this. This is the PAC 073 brush. There's a reason I have two of this again, because this soaks up that excess concealer. It gives you a really nice blend, a quick blend in fact, and it's like a little bit rounded, like it's like this rounded brush, buffing brush, but for a concealer. So it gives you that very nice application. It will make any concealer look a lot less streaky, and it'll absorb that excess product. So you can use this for around your mouth and underneath your eyes and everything, and gives you a quick blend. But when you have like last minute fixes where you want to apply a little bit concealer and you already have blush and under eye makeup and everything, do not use this. It will mess it up. But I like it so much that I have two of this. I also use this to apply my liquid contour, blend it out and everything. So it's a multi-purpose brush again. And another brush, I think I have three of this brush, is the PAC 234 brush. This is comparatively cheaper compared to all of these other brushes, this line of PAC brushes, and you can always find this on discount. I've got this for 230 rupees. I've got it for 300 rupees. And the reason I picked up two or three of this is because again, it works really well for contour placement and blending that contour. And it's not something that would work for your bronzer or anything, just for that placement, that precise placement of your contour and blending it out. And also when you want to blend out your concealer underneath your eyes, similar to that buffing brush, it will work just like that. And also around your mouth, it works really well for concealer and giving you a really good blend, soaking up that little bit excess concealer, as well as giving you a really good precision to apply your contour and blend it. So on days when I'm like using my contour and concealer, I sometimes use this just on its own. Okay, out of all of this, which are the ones you definitely need? I think you probably would need one of 073. You don't really need two, but you can try out one. You can try 234 and maybe this mask brush, if you're in the mood to pick up three brushes. If you're not, then you can again narrow down according to your preference and the way you do your makeup. I would just sit here all day recommending products to you, but it is up to you what you pick up. And then for blush, now when it comes to cream blushes, nothing for me has replaced these brushes from my collection. This is the Cuffs and Lashes F016 brush. I have two of this. This was the first launch, I think. It's a little bit more wispy, it's a little bit more spread out and a little bit more thin. So it works when you want to apply a thin consistency of a cream blush, like something like the Makeup Forever palette. If you're familiar with this, these blushes are not very thick and not very pigmented. So you don't want the brush to soak up a lot of that. This would do the job for you, like a pot blush, a cream blush. This shape of it worked out really well for me. And then I picked up this one thinking it would be just the same, but they have changed this shape just a little bit. I mean, you can see it's a little bit denser and not as spread out. So this works really well for liquid blushes. So you can also use this for foundation. It also works out really well for foundation. You can use this for pretty much everything underneath your eyes as well. You can use this for bronzer and everything, but I use this specifically for blush alone. And you can see it's always dirty, so there's no chance for me to use this for anything else, because I need these brushes for my blush at all times. And off late, I've noticed that it's been cracking a little bit, but it's been over 2 to 3 years now that I own this. So It is excusable, but yeah, it's starting to crack a little bit, and I have heard few people mention that their brushes have fallen apart. It's never happened to me. I swear by these brushes. Given a chance, anytime, I would always restock these brushes, especially if you are someone who loves cream blushes and liquid blushes and get a lot of use out of it. If you're someone who uses powder brush, again, that would work really well for you, but I have brushes specifically for powder blush, like this one. I don't know if this is still available or discontinued. This is the Wet n Wild P70 brush, and I love to use this for powder blushes because it picks up the right amount of it. It doesn't make it look very patchy. It doesn't pack on that powder blush and make it too intense and hard for me to blend. So this works out really well for me. But since that might be discontinued, you can try out the PAC 214 brush, which has an angle like this. This also applies the blush really well. It has the right amount of density. It has an angle. I don't really use this for foundation because it's not made for foundation, in my opinion. It's a little bit wispy that way. It works out for a blush, but it does pack on the blush a little bit intense, so just keep that in mind. For contour specifically, like if I'm using powder contours or even liquid contours, these are the brushes I really like to use. I have two of this one. This one is the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. I really like this because of the shape of it. It gives you that precision to apply a liquid contour and blend it out. Some of the liquid contours can be a little bit more pigmented than the others, so in that case, a small brush like this would not work. This works really well for me when the cream contour, liquid contour is just about the right shade for me. It's not too dark, so I can make sure that I don't apply too much of it, and I also want it to show up and not just, you know, disperse into my skin and vanish away because of the brush. That's when I use that. But when I have a very intensely pigmented bronzer, liquid bronzer or contour, I use this one because it applies it as well as blends it out beautifully for you. You can use this for powder, bronzers, and also it works pretty well if you want to use it for foundation as well, because it's an expert face brush. It works as a multi-purpose product. I don't really like to use this for blush. Apart from that, everything else, it works out pretty well. And this specifically for contour and bronzer alone, like powder or liquid, this one is the e.l.f. powder blurring brush. This is of this shape. This again works out really well. Like if I have to apply this NARS Laguna bronzer, which is not too, you know, lightly pigmented, but also not very intensely pigmented, but it can pack a punch. I dip this one out, just tap out the excess and then apply it. It will give you that beautiful precision. Powder down my face, I use this Mars powder brush. It works out really well. It works for underneath your eyes, around your mouth, and if you've already, like, you know, applied blush and you don't want the powder to sort of separate that blush, then you can use the concealer brushes that I recommended. But this is a good powder brush, and I think this is just enough for my entire face as well. I don't really like those huge powder brushes. I do own them. I do own quite a lot of brushes actually, but I don't really use this because I find these to be very, very big. Probably would work for powder foundations or anything, but I don't really use them as much. So I stopped buying powder brushes on the whole. And these again have specific uses. They have that, you can see that slant angle to it. This is from Swiss Beauty. This is their angled blusher brush, and this is from Plume. It's called Praush now, right? It's a P02 brush. It's their angled brush. Now these I use for bronzer, not so much for contour, but bronzer. Now if you are a beginner, I would invest in these over these brushes that I recommended, because this you can apply your contour as well, but for bronzer it just gives you that right angle, and you would never go above or below. It will give you that angle and precision to apply it, so it's a lot more easier for you to work around as well. So either one of this should do. You can just pick up the Swiss Beauty blusher brush, because this is a little bit affordable as well, and this serves the purpose of applying the bronzer really well. And then for my cream highlighters and powder highlighters, I like to use the Real Techniques setting brush. Do you absolutely need these? Not really. These don't really blend out the concealer that well for me, so I use this just for like the Nika liquid highlighters and the Dior one and everything. And when I want to apply that liquid highlighter, not intensely but diffuse it and blend it out really well, I use this, because I can't use my concealer brushes, because I always use my concealer brushes to touch up on my makeup throughout the day, and I don't want highlighter in it. But ideally, if you have two concealer brushes, you could use just that for liquid highlighter. You don't really need these. So that's the reason you can see most of the times these are comparatively a little less messier than my other brushes. And then moving on to eye brushes. I don't really have a lot. I have like specific brushes that I like. I like anything with this kind of fluffy blending brush. This one is from Mars. If you want to apply a light eyeshadow all over your eyelid and not be very precise towards your crease, this works really well. If you want precision towards your crease, you can use a brush like this ProArt AE24, or even Mars has this one from this is their BRE01 brush, or something from Cuffs and Lashes, which is their E005 brush, and this one from ProArt, which is PF08 brush. All of these for precision when you want to apply color concentrated towards your crease. This one works really well. This ProArt brush works really well when you want to apply it on the outer corner as well as drag it into your crease. So I feel like over face brushes, it's better to invest in a lot of eye brushes because blending your eyeshadow needs a lot of practice, needs a lot of patience and a lot of brushes. In the beginning, you will mess it up a lot of times. It will look really messy, so you can't really use the same brushes time and again. If you have that spot makeup brush cleaner, then it works out. Otherwise, having a lot of blending brushes does the work for you because you'd have to get that precise blending thing. And then I really love these pencil brushes. This one is from Praush. This is their P19 brush to apply eyeshadow just towards the lower lash line. For that, I like these pencil brushes. You don't really have to even buy these branded ones. You can get something from Amazon. They have a pack of 4 pencil brushes. They used to sell that back in the day. I'm not sure if they're still available. I bought them like around 10 years back when I first started my channel and I still use it. You could try out that, or even Swiss Beauty has these pencil brushes. This is F04. So these work really well when you want to apply color to the lower lash line or concentrate it like towards your lashes. And then we have a flat eyeshadow brush. This is from a brand called Babila. I'm not sure if they still have it. This one and Gub. These are the brushes I specifically reach for when I want to apply shimmer shadow with a brush. I usually use my fingers, but if I want a brush application, out of all of the 100 makeup brushes I own, these 2 are the brushes I reach for. I'm not sure where's the other one, but this and a brand called Gub. Because they have that very flat shape. Can you see? It's not at all dense. So it picks up just the right amount of product and it packs that color on. When it's a little bit thick, it will not pack that color on and it won't give you precision as well. And it'll also have a little bit of fallout. But when it's thin as this, it wouldn't do that. And also you can apply it like this and also sort of cut your crease with this. Back in the day, when I started my channel a few years, there was this trend of cut crease. I'm not sure if people are still doing it because the trends have changed, and a lot of you guys were in school probably not even aware of this, preparing for your midterm and your final exams and sweating over all of those things while we were sweating over cut crease. So that was a trend back in the day and you needed the right kind of brushes for that. I'm not sure if it's still there. Like, I've not seen anyone do a cut crease in a long time. Anyways, maybe I'm out of sight, out of mind, out of sight. Okay, so yeah, these brushes work out really well. And also when you want to like be very precise, this particular brush works out. I'm not sure if this is even available, but pick up anything that's as flat as this. Those are pretty much all of the makeup brushes I use, you know, pretty much every single time. And when I wash these and they're like drying, I miss them genuinely because they make my makeup application a lot more easier. You can narrow it down and pick up the ones you like the most. So let me know what other videos you'd like to watch in the comments down below. And while you're at it, give this video a big thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a new video. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.